Born Dale Lemoyne Robertson on July 14, 1923 in Harrah, Oklahoma, he came out of the hard-scrabble plains with a ranch kid's grit and a plain-spoken streak a mile wide. Growing up through the Great Depression taught him to work, ride, and rely on himself, habits that later made his Western heroes feel real. You could see the saddle years in his posture, the calm in his eyes. Audiences trusted him because he looked and moved like someone who'd actually lived the life. Before Hollywood, he wore a uniform. During World War II, Robertson enlisted in the U.S. Army, serving with the 322nd Combat Engineer Battalion, later transferring to the 332nd Combat Engineer Battalion, and spending time with the 101st Cavalry. He was wounded twice in action and earned the Bronze Star among other decorations. That experience left a stamp on him, quiet, stoic, the kind of presence that doesn't have to shout to be heard. Long before he was a television favorite, he was the real thing, a decorated veteran. His acting career began by chance. While recovering from war injuries, he posed for a photograph as a gift to his mother. That picture landed in front of the right set of eyes. Agents noticed the rugged face, the unforced charisma, and soon he was trying out small roles in the late 1940s and early 1950s. The camera liked him, and the Western boom of the era liked him even more. The break that made him a household name was Tales of Wells Fargo, 1957 to 1962. As Special Agent Jim Hardy, Robertson carried himself with fair-minded strength and an easy seat in the saddle. His natural horsemanship and unblinking screen presence gave the show a lived-in weight that set it apart. Week after week, millions tuned in. To families gathered around their living room sets, Dale wasn't just playing a Western hero, he was one. He kept busy beyond Wells Fargo, films such as Dakota Incident, 1956, Return of the Texan, 1952, and Sitting Bull. 1954 paired him with top names and tested him in different stories. He led the series Iron Horse, 1966 to 1968, and later turned up on primetime hits like Dynasty and Dallas in the 1980s. Proof that he could adapt as the industry changed while keeping that same steady heartbeat audiences loved. The mid-1960s were full throttle. In 1964, he was part of Law of the Lawless, staying right in the Western pocket that suited him so well. He also tried new territory, The Man from Button Willow, 1965, an animated feature where he voiced a cowboy hero, and The One-Eyed Soldiers, 1966, a European-shot crime drama, evidence he wasn't afraid to wander off the trail and explore. By 1968, he'd taken on a new role as host of Death Valley Days, introducing and narrating true-leaning frontier stories with a storyteller's ease. In the 1970s, he stepped into a different kind of lawman, real-life FBI agent Melvin Purvis, in Melvin Purvis, G-Man, 1974 in the Kansas City Massacre, 1975, squaring off on screen against the likes of John Dillinger and Pretty Boy Floyd. The performances were tightly wound, controlled, convincing. Primetime soaps came calling in 1981 when he joined Dynasty as Walter Lancashire, just for the first season, but it introduced him to a new generation. He kept at it with the 1983 pilot Big John, and then, in 1987, he headlined the NBC crime drama J.J. Starbuck, playing a wealthy Texan who walks away from business to solve crimes with plain talk and big hat charm. The show didn't run long, but Robertson's title character, folksy, larger-than-life, and sincere, stuck with fans. Even near the end of his run, he stayed in the saddle. In late 1993 and early 1994, he appeared in 2 episodes of Hearts of the West, a comedy drama led by Beau Bridges and Lloyd Bridges, a fitting return to the Western spirit that had defined so much of his career. Robertson's off-screen story had plenty of turns. He married 4 times. His first marriage, to Frederica Jacqueline Wilson in 1951, made him a father. They divorced in 1956, but he stayed present in his child's life despite the pull of long shooting days and location work. Later in 1956, he wed actress Mary Murphy, remembered for The Wild One, 1953. The marriage was extremely brief, an annulment the same year, one of those Hollywood whirlwinds that burns bright and fast. In 1959, he married Lula Mae Robertson. That marriage lasted until 1977, Nearly 2 decades that saw him balanced between a booming career, Tales of Wells Fargo, Iron Horse, and raising 2 daughters. He often said family mattered to him as much as the work, and those years bore it out, even as the spotlight got hotter. His 4th marriage began in 1980, when he wed Susan Robbins. This was the long haul, 33 years, right through to his passing in 2013. They made their home in Yukon, Oklahoma, where he enjoyed a quieter life far from studio lots. By every account, the bond was steady and kind. Susan was there with him to the end. Dale Robertson was rarely coy about his opinions. He respected many colleagues, but there was one actor he said he truly hated more than anyone, Robert Taylor, the striking MGM leading man whose career ran strong from the 1930s through the 1950s. For Robertson, it wasn't petty rivalry. It was a collision of values. Raised in Oklahoma on straight talk and hard work, he believed good acting starts with being a decent man, and that a camera can tell the difference. To his eye, Taylor was polish without substance, an image-first star more worried about his best angle than a character's truth. As Robertson put it, Taylor obsessed over perfect hair, a tilted chin, and the right light. Not acting, just vanity. There were personal slights, too, the kind that stick. Robertson recalled social encounters where Taylor looked down on people outside his tight studio circle. Robertson, who valued a firm handshake and eye contact, bristled at what he saw as condescension and never tolerated it. And then there was the matter of principle. In the tense post-war era, Taylor testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee and cooperated in naming colleagues suspected of communist sympathies. To Robertson, who placed loyalty near the top of his code, that was unforgivable. In his view, Taylor turned his back on people he'd worked with. Robertson said he'd rather be blacklisted than sell out a friend. What frustrated him most was the gap between Taylor's public image, upright, all-American, dependable, and the man he believed stood behind it. Hollywood's promotional machine, in Robertson's mind, had gilded someone who hadn't earned it. He called Taylor a coward, hiding behind looks and contracts. Time didn't soften him. Even long after 1969, the year Taylor died, Robertson would shake his head and say his first impression had been the right one. In an industry that often prizes diplomacy, that kind of blunt talk is rare. Robertson didn't care. He never wanted to be part of the studio cafeteria politics anyway. He came to play real men, tell straight stories, and earn his keep, feathers ruffled or not. And if there was one feather he didn't mind ruffling, it was Robert Taylor's. As his health declined, Robertson left the familiar comforts of home and moved to the San Diego area for treatment, close to advanced care. The coastal air and the hospital's expertise offered some ease, but even a man as tough as Dale couldn't outride everything. Battling lung cancer and pneumonia, he spent his final days at Scripps Memorial Hospital in La Jolla, California, where he died on February 26, 2013. He was 89. He left behind the legacy of a true Hollywood cowboy, decorated soldier, television star, first-rate horseman, and a stubborn champion of authenticity. The characters he played didn't just sling a six-gun. They held a code. So did the man who played them. And that's why, for those who grew up with Tales of Wells, Fargo, Iron Horse, or J.J. Starbuck, Dale Robertson isn't just another name in the credits. He's the rider you still picture against a wide western sky, straight-backed in the saddle, telling the truth the way he always did.